Wanted to introduce the Education 270 Weekly Reflective Journal. You will be doing the reflective journal each week, and so this is a 7-week course. Basically, there's 15 reflective journals. The purpose of this project is so you, as a educator to be, learn to reflect on the things that you're doing in the presentations. You're making connections to your life. Educators have to know how to reflect upon every lesson that they teach, the things that they plan. You're reflecting on the communication you have with your students, your peers, your parents. And so this is a skill that is very important to learn. The task of the reflective journal, as you can see right here, is to look at the beginning of each weekly presentation, and also it's listed on the course schedule, which I'll show you in a little bit, you'll see a weekly discussion question. And I want you to, as you start each presentation, to keep that in mind so you know what you'll be answering at the end. Now, when you get to the end of the presentation, you're going to answer this question or sometimes statement with 2 well-constructed paragraphs. Now, you might ask, what does that mean exactly? Basically, you are going to be answering the question with specific information that you have read in your textbook or you have learned through our presentation. I want you to go back into the presentation or the textbook and give me detailed content that answers the question. I shouldn't be able to look at your answer and wonder if this is something that you know just from your personal experiences. And if your answer is that vague, you will lose points. I do want you using the vocabulary for that weekly discussion. I want you using the concepts and content that we've been learning, because these answers, honestly, you could probably give an answer to most of these discussion questions without doing the presentation. But that answer is going to be very different from the answer you will give if you use what you learn. You think about in the world of teaching, anyone can teach someone to do something. And when you look at what we're teaching kiddos to read and write and learn basic words. Anyone can do that. But what I'm teaching you is if you're going to be a teacher of reading and writing, you need to know these specific skills and the specific procedures and timing, and that's what I'm going to be looking for in your answer. It's the detailed part that is going to be what you need to have in your answer to get points. That being said, you do have a second paragraph to your answer, and this is where you're going to personally connect to the question or the statement. And so if you've seen what I'm talking about in the discussion, or if you've encountered that in your own journey as a reader or a writer, I would like to hear about that. And how did that make you feel? Or was it a good experience, a bad experience? What would you do differently? So each time you do your weekly reflective journal, your entry will have 2 paragraphs, one with that informational knowledge that is very specific and one that is more personal. I'd like these answers to be typed. You can type them in Word, you can make them a PDF, or you can use a program, Google Docs, whatever you want to use. But that at the end of each week, or actually twice a week in your case with this 7-week course, you're going to go to the end of the week folder. So let's say it's week 1, part 1. Or it's week 5, part 2. Whatever folder your presentation and materials were in for the week, there will be a drop box right there that you'll put your weekly journal entry in, and it is labeled for you, and I'll share that with you in just a second. The grading for this is a total of 150 points that you will accumulate by the end of the semester. That is 15 weekly journal entries, 10 points for each entry, and that's a total of 150 points. Right now, there is 1 week where you have 2 journal entries. That's week, I believe, 8 and 9. That's where we come up with the 15. The grading scale is right down here. Basically, for that first paragraph of specific content, you will be rated on a 0 to 7 point scale. And on the personal connection paragraph, you'll be rated 0 to 3 points. And that's a total of 10 points on each entry. Now I wanted to share with you, in our syllabus, if you go down to our course schedule, you can see for each week there's the journal entry number, and then written in cursive is the question. So for week 1, you're going to answer, why am I taking this course and what do I hope to learn? How do your personal beliefs about literacy learning influence your instructional decisions? And we'll talk more about that in the presentation, that it'll make a lot of sense to you. Journal 1 is actually a 2-part journal. Most of them are just one. As I scroll down there, for the second part of week 1, we have journal entry number 2. For week 2, part 1, we have journal entry 3. Here's week 2, part 2, journal entry 4. And you'll see that just continues. Always look for that cursive writing, and that's your topic. Again, it will be at the start of every presentation that I do. I will remind you of the question, and then it'll be on the last slide as well. In D2L, share with you where to find the Dropbox for your weekly discussions or your journal entries. So I'm going to show you, if we go into any of the course presentations, and you'll see those they're listed by week. Let's just go to week 2, part 2. And when you click on it, it takes you into the content for the week. And you'll see we have Meeting All Learners' Literacy Needs. That's your presentation. Articles that you'll need to read for the week. And then we have 3 drop boxes. And most weeks will have 3 drop boxes. Unless you have a project, then you'll have some additional boxes. So if you go in, here is our participation drop box, where you'll put the things that you've done throughout the presentation. Then we have our literature sharing drop box, and that's going to be the story that I read you each week. And then our third drop box is our weekly journal entry. You'll just click on that, and you will add your Word document as an attachment, or you can type your journal activity right into there. It may be nice for you at the end to have a collection of Word documents instead of just your entries right here, but you can put it right in there, and that's what you'll do when you submit it to me. The other thing that I wanted to show you is if you go to assessments, you can click on Dropbox, and you'll see all of our drop boxes for the semester. And you can also access it at weekly journal entry drop box here. And that will also take you in and give you the same drop box. They're both the same. So either way will get you to your drop box when it's time. And I really want to just stress the importance of those quality answers so you can earn your 10 points, because it is worth 150 points over the course of the semester. And these are due every time we finish a presentation. They are due by the start of the next week's presentation. So this was week 2, part 2, and it will be introduced to you on a Friday. Week 3, part 1 will be introduced to you on a Monday. So by that Monday morning, your Dropbox should have the prior week's information. Okay, good luck.